Welcome back to Houston Life. This Saturday night on KPRC2, you can tune in for the Barbara Bush Literacy Foundation's Celebration of Reading television special.
Yeah, it is one of our very favorite annual events. And this year it's featuring Kelsey Grammer, Nate Bargatze, and local New York Times bestselling author Katherine Center. Here's some of my chat with Katherine about her latest book, The Love Haters. Katherine, it's so nice to meet you.
It's so great to be here.
It really is an honor, and I know your new book has not yet been released. I somehow got access to an early manuscript, so I started reading it yesterday. You have this incredible ability as a writer to grip the reader immediately. How did you develop that skill?
Well, thanks for saying that. The hardest part of a book when I'm reading, for me, is always that early part.
Same.
You know? Yeah, because it's like you don't have your bearings. You don't know who these people are or why you should care about them, right? And so I always try to make that part as tiny as possible. Like I think a lot about how to start strong, how to get people emotionally invested right away, because I like that feeling of being pulled through a story. I like when the story grabs you by the seat of the pants and just takes you.
Somehow you have accomplished that wonderfully as a writer, which is no surprise given that you're not just a New York Times best-selling author. I mean, your books are oftentimes instantly at the top of the bestsellers list. You come from what you describe as a book family. Your uncle owned a bookstore, Dietering Bookstore, is that right?
Dietering Book Gallery, yeah.
And this was something that you sort of grew up wanting to do, is that right?
Yeah, I grew up around books. My parents were both huge readers. My mom has a master's in library science from UT. She's a librarian. And we all read all the time. That was just the one sort of activity that everybody in our family was expected to do. Books were a big deal. Books really mattered. We had bookshelves everywhere. Everywhere you looked in the house I grew up in, there were books everywhere. But I really got started writing, not so much because I thought books were cool, although I did. That was in the background. I got started writing in the 6th grade out of misery because I was very, very dorky in the 6th grade and I was very miserable. And I had 2 best friends who were also dorky and also miserable. And we somehow got this idea that we should write novels about the 1980s boy band Duran Duran.
Ooh, good choice.
And so we did it. I mean, we were so unhappy and we were struggling so hard emotionally. And we decided to write these novels. We each had a notebook. We would sort of suffer through the school week, writing chapters in our novels, and then on the weekends we would get together and have sleepovers, and we would put on our PJs and jump into somebody's bed and open up our novels and read them to each other in installments. And that's really the thing that got me hooked on stories.
I love this story because it underscores this idea that books are an escape. Yeah. For people. It's a way for people to relax, to be happy, to look forward to something. Your books have an overarching theme of positivity. Mm-hmm. And your very first book was published in 2007, is that right?
Yes.
You told me during, before this interview, you called yourself the great-grandmother of the rom-com.
Yeah, I've been around a long time writing rom-coms.
2007 was not that long ago. But do you think that is the reason why readers keep coming back to your books? Because there is such a positive vibe.
Yeah, I mean, rom-coms and romance novels, any kind of happy love story, not a tragic Romeo and Juliet situation, but a happy love story is going to be incredibly nourishing. Like, they're especially nourishing compared to other genres. And part of the reason for that is that you have this guaranteed happily ever after. And so whenever I'm writing stories, I'm kind of looking around in the world for things that are inspiring and things that are uplifting that I can work into the story or center the story around. And when I was starting to think about what to write for this book, my husband suggested rescue swimmers. And I have to say, I hadn't really known very much about the Coast Guard before that, but he said, if you really want to write about courage and altruism, you need to learn about this job because these guys are doing that every day. They're putting their lives on the line to pull people out of the ocean.
Speaking of your husband, Gordon, you dedicated this book to him, and I understand he frequently goes out with you when you're doing a book tour.
He does.
And your mother does as well.
My mother does too.
Talk to me about what they have both made of your overwhelming success.
They're delighted. I think my mom always thought I would get there. You know, my career has been sort of the opposite of an overnight success. I've had lots and lots of opportunities for self-doubt and disappointment, and you know, we call them opportunities for personal growth, you know, when things don't go your way and you're just struggling and it's not looking like anything's going to be easy. And through it all, both of those two people, my mom and my husband, just kind of never doubted that it was somehow going to work out. You know, I doubted it all the time. I kept trying to quit, but they both thought it's going to happen. So I'm very grateful to them. They've been amazing.
Katherine Center, I cannot wait to finish The Love Haters that, again, I started just last night. It's fun already, and it's just such an honor to meet you. I had no idea you were from Houston, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, this big-time author was right here, living down the road. So,
yeah, I grew up here. This is my hometown.
well, Houston is proud to call you, to claim you as our own, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. It was such a treat to be here.
I really could have chatted with her for a full hour.
I want that book because it's a good summer read.
The book is so good, and it grips you on the very first page, I guarantee it. Also, a reminder, the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation presents a celebration of reading featuring Nate Bargatze, Kelsey Grammer, and best-selling authors H.W. Brands, Victoria Christopher Murray, and of course, our very own Katherine Center.
You can learn more about the authors, plus how the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation is making an impact on young readers in the Houston area. And remember, the special program airs Saturday at 7 p.m. on KPRC2 and the KPRC2 Plus live stream.